one of the problems, first off, I'm just going to say, I think electric cars are great, but it's just like online dating, it's like, oh, pictures look good. You meet the person and it's like, ooh, talking a lot about sports, it's like, whatever. That part of electric cars is that this person that you're going to spend the next 10 years with, needs to be charged. It takes hours. Every car is different. Going back to the dating metaphor, it's like electric cars are like who you're settling for. The soulmate we all deserve is just like reasonable public transportation everywhere. High-speed trains, you're tripping over them. You know what I mean? They're running out of things to name these trains after. There's so many. Another on the other list of like red flags for our second date. When you get in a serious collision in a electric car such that it like crushes or compresses the batteries, they're probably going to catch fire. It doesn't seem like we're going the route that, we're not going towards our soulmate. We're like repeating bad patterns. This is like,
this metaphor is amazing.
Yeah.
We're not getting bullet trains across.
No, you gotta do the work.
Does this make my carbon footprint look big? No, it's just the corporate hegemony of greed and infrastructure.
Send carbon footprint pics.
Maybe for my soulmate, on their birthday.
Well, we haven't done the work yet, Beck, so we don't get soulmates.
I know. Oh, I just keep going back to that gas-powered fuckboy.
Thing that I would add to it is electric cars are not getting us away from disposable transportation. So you get in a fender bender in your Tesla, it might be totaled.
Hello and welcome to the pod. Get your engines revved up because we have got a hot episode for you today on We're Experts Now. My name is Rebecca.
I'm Jackie, and I cannot wait to go to the races. I'm gonna be honest. I've always been a bit of a speed demon. So
you are a speed demon. I've driven with you. I am unfortunately the scum of the earth, aka a slow driver. Right lane for life, baby.
I just want to get there quick. I am better than I used to be very clear. So, sorry to all my old friends.
that had to be passengers in your death trap. No, I think you're a fantastic. I think the norm is to be speedy, and I am just a cruiser, baby. People have passed me on the right, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just.
Yeah, I'm a Bay Area driver, so I am going 80 on 80, and that's how we like to drive and how we like to be.
Oh, 80's the highway.
Yeah, so you could drive 80 miles an hour on Highway 80. 80 on 80. How you been? What you been up to lately?
Actually, funny enough, there was a car accident outside my window. That is like the one fun thing about living next to a very active road. It's loud a lot of the time, and without AC, I have to keep my window open almost all the time here in Los Angeles. But that does mean I get, every 3 weeks, just that satisfying screech, thud, crash. And I mean, everyone was fine. It wasn't, a terrible accident. It was just a lovely fender bender where the BMW was the offending driver. Not surprising. Yes. So I jump up and I run to my window and I pull my blinds down and I look out and I just gleefully watch people get out.
It happened on New Year's when I was there with you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And we were like, what?
And you were like, there's got to be a whole scene. Like there must be something out there. I'm like, nah, you're going to look, there's not going to be anything. And sure enough, the person probably just, late at night, they probably just took out a few trash cans and moved on with it. Jesus. Well, how are you, Jackie? How's everything in your world?
Oh, I'm good. I'm living my best life, just getting by. I did have an amateur alert lately. So
deep sigh.
I feel like this is how all my amateur alerts start. It's just a deep sigh and then it's just like a question on how I get through life. I have been editing all the videos for the for YouTube. So listeners, if you aren't watching us as well and you would like to, head over to our YouTube. And just like a shout out to Bex, who does all the audio editing. I do not do that. That is your good friend Rebecca for your easy audio listening. If you would like to see some choppy video editing, head over to YouTube. Speaking of which, I've been editing the videos, and someone pointed out to me that I had spelled amateur wrong in the amateur alert. And the best part was like, I had like done this in so many videos. So I had to go back to all of the amateur alerts and literally respell amateur in the amateur alert. And it was just like, it was so meta at that point. I was just like, okay, well, that's my amateur alert, or as I might spell it, amateur alert.
Yeah, you were doing the like TURE.
I absolutely was an amateur.
Once again, fooled by the French. It's an amateur.
I took French.
Well, then you fooled yourself, Jackie. But as always,
it was the most amateur of the amateur alerts.
As always, our listeners and viewers can send their complaints to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue to our complaint department. We'll get right to it.
I can't with that one. But yes, send that right away. Speaking of which, how do we get to Pennsylvania Avenue, and what's the topic today?
Oh, well, we already went to We already went there. We went to, it was Washington, D.C. Well, we didn't go to the White House, but, we did that on January 6th. So, we'd already seen.
I was not there, to be very clear. Rebecca can make whatever jokes that she wants. I am not even joking that I was there.
No. We're going to breeze right past that topic and on to today's topic. Hit on it a little bit at the top with the puns, as I can't resist. Today we're talking cars, a subject you and I deeply love and know so much about. And so I thought I'd take it one step further. Let's go talk about electric cars.
Okay, good, because we couldn't have done the whole topic of cars in one day. Electric cars might even be too broad, but let's do the 101 course, right? Not the Highway 101, but like the intro to electric cars course. Like, I imagine they take electricity. Bam. And they drive.
Wow. Are you gaslighting me? There is, probably some sort of like plug. You gotta keep it plugged in. Plug it in. You gotta, because the whole thing of a car is it's got like the engine, the battery, the gas tank.
They do have an engine typically. I have seen this before.
And electric cars, I suppose, must also have a motor. It's still a motorized vehicle. But
because the motor is what moves the things in the car, like wheels,
piston. Gotta be. I bet there's at least one piston in there.
There's definitely pistons. Maybe
and
not.
I'm pissed off. Pissed on. Pissed
there
off.
might not be pistons. What if it's all a computer and like there has to be a motor, because the motor has to be what's moving the wheels. Okay, let's start with a car.
Getting a regular from Red Cross right now. They always want my blood, and I won't give it to them today.
Not while I'm
not
potting.
Today, Red Cross. Not this, oh positive.
I got a call from a hospital one time, and it was obviously like this is an amateur alert for you. It's obviously like the Methodist hospital, but it got shortened to Meth Hosp.
Oh no!
And
you're like,
and I was like, the Meth Hosp is calling me. No names.
Oh God.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, we were sticking too closely to the task at hand. I thought we needed a little bit of a sidebar and distraction. So let's get back in our lane.
Yeah, you're really on it today.
Yeah. No.
Do you have a list? I'm starting to wonder. Do you have a list of puns that you come up with before the episodes?
No, but I did just read an article that puns may be related to brain damage. So it's possible that's just natural.
I've seen your behaviors. So, you know what's funny? I love puns too, and I actually do know I have brain damage. So that's great.
Yes.
Okay. So
Well,
on the subject of brain damage, no, cars.
cars. Yeah, well,
You
because
can get brain damage from a car though if you get
sure.
hit by one or are in one when it hits something else.
Well, yeah. So I mean, it's all the same stuff as a regular car, but I'm
Mhm.
thinking, the point is
There's electricity.
we discovered we discovered a way to use electricity in a different way, but then
Wait, but
gas companies were
was
like,
there in the original car, was there electricity?
no, they were like hand crank motors. So
Okay.
you would like crank it up, and then that would like that's how you had to start OG cars. And then it's a combustion engine. But I don't know much beyond that. And that I know from watching Downton Abbey.
I mean, I watched Downton Abbey like 3 times and I have no idea what you're talking
The
about.
the Irish driver Tommy has
Yeah,
got
I
to
know he
crank
was
the
like with the
car.
sister Sybil, but I don't remember anything he said about the cars.
There's just a scene where he like has to crank it, but I've seen that in other things too. It's like that was the key essentially. It's like you like hand crank the car, and it was a whole
Because you
thing.
got to get it started. I get that. Okay, so it's
Mhm.
like
But then what's
inertia
in there?
stays
Is
at.
it like a furnace? Is it like do you put coal
Oh,
in
that's what I'm
there?
thinking. I don't think you put coal in it. You put gas in it. I think original
Maybe
cars
it
had
did.
gas.
Maybe it
So
did.
you had to get the motor started and then the gas kept it going.
Mm-hmm. Because I think it's able to store energy once it starts. Like, but I don't know when batteries were invented. I mean, batteries are ancient as
Batteries were
well.
not invented
Some say the ancient Egyptians invented
until
a
like
kind of
6 years ago.
battery, but yeah, batteries are pretty. I mean, okay, well, batteries went off the market 3 years ago, Jackie.
And
Coke
it was a short
heard
live.
of
I
it?
don't know. I actually don't know anything about batteries. Okay, so I feel like that's an 80s thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, Walkmans.
When were
Uh-oh, we're googling.
this one's oh shit, no way. Okay. What's your guess?
Because see, I thought that Egyptians had a kind of battery.
No?
Okay. It does feel to me though like we didn't. I don't know. Just gonna go 1910.
Okay. No. Also, the guy who's invented it, last name Volta.
Oh, volts.
Right? Okay, so 1800.
Oh,
An
snap.
Italian physicist, uh, he stacked discs of copper and zinc separately by cloth soaked in salty water and connected wires. You know what's really funny is I'm going to send you an image of this really quick, and I just want your feedback on what you think this looks like.
Is it a dildo?
No, it's not a dildo.
Oh,
It's a
it's the whole
vagina.
package.
It's
Yeah.
a vagina.
I love to see. So men
With a
have been
dildo in
lying
it.
the whole time about not knowing where the source of power is.
And it's in our vaginas. Look at that. That totally looks like a vagina.
I love vulvas.
In case anyone was wondering, you heard it here first. Bex loves vulvas, vulvos, and Alessandro Volta for inventing the battery.
V's. I love a sapphic graphic. Okay. I think here's something I've been heard once, spurious though it may be, or specious or not true. I've heard that so part of the funding for upkeep of roads, highways, public transit grid comes through taxes that are
Yes.
folded into gas prices. Therefore, people who use hybrid and electric vehicles are not paying towards those upkeep fees, and they're actually not helping the environment as much.
So yes and no. Okay, so the couple things are happening there. That is not where everything that is funded by the government comes from taxes.
Mm-hmm.
One tax or another, whether that be a sales tax, whether that be a federal tax on just living in this country, whether that be property taxes, income taxes. There's so many different types of taxes, and everything the government does comes from a tax. So yes, that is absolutely correct. there are significant tax rebates for having an electric car. So if you are at a certain income, then having an electric car does basically even out how much tax you would have paid for transportation because you're getting a rebate. You're getting money back for having an electric car. Two things also happen there. You pay higher utilities, so you are still paying someone. And second off, if you are a multimillionaire, then your tax rebate is not really going to touch all the taxes that you owe that year, right? So if you owe 4 million in taxes every year because you are a multi-millionaire, right? Your $4,000 tax rebate isn't really going to touch your $4 million worth of taxes. So it really just depends on, like, you would have to be making the right amount of money for you to not be contributing in that way.
Well,
fake news, Bex, fake news.
I mean, I didn't really address that electric cars aren't buying gas. So they're never
aren't buying gas, but you also pay for...
And you said they're actually getting more money back they're getting a rebate.
So there's other taxes is what I'm saying. Gas tax is not the only tax that you pay that would pay for transportation funding in the United States.
So they've thought about that. The government's like, yeah, we're going to get our money one way or another.
They have, right? They really, really, really have. What essentially they're saying is that, oh, you would have paid this much on gas taxes. We'll give you a rebate for that. You're still paying for transportation one way or another. Now, you're also paying a higher utility bill because now you have to have the electricity. Unless you're smart and you work at like a company or you live at a mall that has charging stations, or you live near a mall that has charging stations, that's when you really come out on top.
Yeah. Tesla, I think, is a whole different topic in and of itself, and the elongated muskrat kingdom.
I have no idea what that you're talking about.
It's Elon Musk's full name is elongated muskrat.
Got it. I hadn't heard that. That's nice. Did he change it recently? God. Wasn't he with the DJ?
Grimes.
Yeah.
Grimes of Passion. That's who he has his son with, or his like 3 of his children with. I think they're possibly still together. He has like 7 kids.
It's a lot of kids.
But see, this is why I'm like, that's a whole other thing.
We're not touching.
And Teslas, they do come with an iPad and Stardew Valley, and I love that. And
do they really?
They come with an iPad, and you can get Stardew Valley. You can put Stardew Valley.
So you can literally play Stardew Valley while you're driving?
Yeah, I have.
You don't have a Tesla.
I dated a Tesla.
Tesla. Just the car.
Which is what I call my ex-boyfriend.
We'll talk about which one that is later.
And believe me, it is self-driving.
Oh, Jesus.
But electric cars in and of themselves, there's are there other ones? There's, I guess,
this is another one of those episodes where we sidetrack the entire time because we have no idea how to talk about the actual topic. We've said like 4 car words and then talked about Elon Musk. Talked about, taxes. I literally talked about taxes for 3 minutes because that I can talk about more than I can about the actual subject, which is a car. So I think that you can drive them.
I think you can drive them.
I'm taking a hard stance. You can drive an electric car.
I know that like the Prius, like after a certain number of years, like you have to get, bigger parts of the car replaced, so that can be really expensive, like the microchip and the battery. And I think it's just right now the industry is set up to support our gas vehicles, and I think that's a big hindrance right now, is they could solve a lot of our problems, but we just don't have enough people invested in it right now.
Hey, I think they're more expensive too, which is like the outright cost is higher. So I just bought a car a few months ago. Would have loved to get an electric car. This was September 2022. So essentially, like, there were no cars. It was the height of the car shortage. Worst time to buy a car, but my car just up and left. Well, it didn't leave. It just died. So, there was like literally there were no electric cars at that point that I could buy, and any one was like 50,000 or more, and I was like, no, I'm not spending that much on a car. So I do think that it's the system's not set up for it. You do see that changing, like in the Bay
Yeah.
Area. There's charging stations everywhere. I think there might even be charging stations in my complex. So like I think it's that is changing now on where you live. Now, if you live in like Idaho, I don't know if you
Ooh,
are going to
yeah.
have access to like charging stations. So I think where you live plays a big part in it.
Idaho, not good for electric cars or Spider-Man. I mean, he's got to have tall buildings to swing from. You know, what's he
Got
going
it.
to do in
Okay,
a
got it. Got
cornfield?
it. Okay, I was like, is there something about Spider-Man and Idaho that I
Allergic to
don't?
potatoes.
I was like, is there like an episode where he goes to Idaho and he just like hates it? Like, what do I not know?
Okay, so let's break it down of what would it take for us to be electric car owners now. I mean, pretty straightforward, right? You go to the dealership, it's like
Yeah,
buying any other kind of car. But I
yeah.
think your lifestyle is where you have to examine. Like, how long do you think you can get on one charge?
I think it depends on the car, and it depends. Like, so some like the hybrids, you can go a lot longer because you can switch over to gas.
Yeah.
And then I know like some like they're like, oh, you hold 200, and some are a lot more. Like I want to say the Teslas are less than 400. Like I don't think you can get from LA to San Francisco.
400 miles?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like, but there's some that are less, some, and I think there are some that are more. Um,
Have,
that's all I got.
have you ever run out of gas?
No.
Okay. See, because that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, that's why I wouldn't be too worried about it because I'm like, I've never run out of gas. Like, I'm always
Yeah, but like if you're driving
thinking
from
about it.
LA to San Francisco, there might not be a place to charge it, and might be like, oh, it's 100 miles until I charge the next charge place because they're
Mm-hmm.
spread out, and so now I have to stop at a place I wouldn't necessarily stop. Like you might have just taken off. Like I think it's that, and then it's like, oh, what if you drove out camping for the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
During,
so,
yeah.
like you don't have a charge out there,
Are there portable? I mean, I guess like in theory, I could have a portable battery for my regular
a
car, you know.
generator.
No, I mean, just like a little portable battery that you like use to jump your car.
Yeah, but you need more than a jump to drive it. You need actual juice, so you would need a
Yeah.
generator. So you would need something long term. Generators are very large, and you know what you need for a generator? Gas or electricity. So
Well, no, they sell like little they're like look like a little toolbox and then you pop it on your battery and you let it run for like 5 minutes and your battery's charged.
yeah, but that's enough to get your battery started. So like if your battery isn't completely dead when you jump your car, which it never is, your battery can be completely dead. So when you jump it, nothing happens. There's enough in your battery, and you just need to get that motor started. Like we were talking about the crank earlier. Once you have like the crank kind of going, that can take you through it. Now, the the electric car doesn't have that like little bit of juice left, right? Like you don't have enough to get it
Hmm.
going to go. Like you would need to charge your car, because the battery in your car is what gets it started. When it runs, then it runs on gas, whereas the
Well, then the
electric,
alternator charges the battery. This I just learned because I had to have my alternator
yes. And
replaced.
so you can't do that in an electric car. Like once you're out of juice, you're out of juice. Like you
Hmm.
can't just like jump your car. You would need to actually charge it to get enough charge to drive a significant amount.
Right, because it's the gas that's keeping
Mhm.
the whole process going.
That's why
Yeah.
hybrids are like, if I was to buy, I would buy a hybrid, because when you run out of the charge, you can then run on gas. So I think a lot of Priuses, I want to say that their charge is like 50 miles or 100 miles. It's significantly less, but then you can switch to gas at any time and then run on gas.
Yeah, I wonder. I would like to see a map now of where charging stations are. I think, thinking about when this technology first started and it was just like only in the West Coast, or like the
Mm-hmm.
coasts, I guess, both coasts probably. And then now we probably have so many more. And then I bet that I'm sure Tesla has a feature that tells you where all your charging stations are, but for cars
Well,
that are
I'm looking right now in Montana. and
cowboy country.
and there's less than 20 in a very large area that I'm looking at. Now, this might not be accurate.
Well, that's probably how many cars there are in Montana, so
20 cars. Yeah, that sounds accurate. So I imagine, again, like that's going to come down to like where you live. Like I wouldn't buy a Tesla and live in Montana right now. I would do it in San Francisco in the Bay Area where I live because you know what? Everyone drives here, a Tesla. There are sometimes more Tesla parking spaces available than regular at places. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, my neighborhood, thankfully, I always have parking because all of my neighbors have like mansions and helipads and Tesla ports, and they don't care about street parking.
Okay, what are we missing on electric cars? I know a lot.
Clue.
Okay, is there anything else we would like to say on the subject? Other than help us, please?
Do we think they're the future, or do you think we'll always... I think we'll always have gas cars because of OPEC. I think we'll always have a vested interest in...
I think electric cars are the future. Now, how far away is that future? That is what I think is questionable. I think within the next 50 years, we'll be on all electric cars. There's just no other option than to switch to it eventually. Now, will they find a way to bleed a turnip regardless of what system that we are using? Yeah, they'll figure it out. I don't know. We'll pay one way or another. Capitalism. Okay, nothing else on cars.
I'm feeling like I'm going to really need our guest expert to come in here and whip us into shape a bit and drop some knowledge on us.
Drop that knowledge like it's hot. Okay. I'm not going to say I'm an expert now or that I think that I might be because I am 0% confident. So, all right, let's get into it.
I feel the need for speed.
Preach. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a nice little break there. We're here to learn some new things. I actually have no idea what we're going to learn. I have no idea what we said in part 1, so it's really a new journey for me. Bex, who's our friend?
I think we pretty much said we didn't know anything, and that's our constant state. But I can tell you, we are going to crank it up because we have Electric Jack with us. Jack, please tell us about yourself.
How you doing? My name's Jack. 32 years old, Scorpio, and an electrician.
Oh, the things we needed to know. Thank you, first guest who has told us their horoscope. Their zodiac sign.
Scorosoko. Yeah.
The
Scoroscope.
The Scoroscope. I am a sucker for a Scorpio, so strong start. 10 out of 10 so
great.
far.
Yeah, awesome. I'll slink back into the shadows now. Do y'all want to touch on anything with like your side of it before I score it? Like, do you want to?
Oh no, just lay it on us. We deserve the torture.
Oh, I mean, I didn't hear anything that I thought was like blatantly wrong. You know, but it's just not the Venn diagram here is the middle part's not so big in terms of.
We mentioned pistons and
yes, I heard.
So
yeah. Facts.
And that there are cars and they drive you. And so we nailed those real clear items. So
yes. Cool. I'm gonna give you a 4.5 out of 10.
That's not our worst score yet.
I think it's awesome. I think that we only have up to go for here. If I were to score you on Alessandro Volta though, we're talking like a solid 7.5 out of 10. Like that was awesome.
That's a person. Did we talk about this person?
Yes, we Googled batteries and then you discovered Volta and the design looks like a Volva. It was the whole
yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay. So what is your area of expertise that's gonna, what Venn diagram are we looking at today?
I'm a commercial electrician. This is something that is becoming more and more common in commercial installs is to include electric car charging. Lots of people have love it, hate it, in terms of what it does. People who are on the other side of it, I'm an inside wireman. There are people who are outside wiremen, like a lineman, somebody who works on poles. They have a lot to say about it generally, because of how it's going to change the demand in any given power system.
Okay, so you
go
said
ahead.
commercial electrician. So we're
Yeah.
talking about the stations and whatnot that are like at the mall and at workplaces. Is that
Yes,
what we're getting
exactly.
at? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Workplaces, parking garages, government buildings. Yeah.
And this might be a dumb question, but like, is Tesla the same charger as all the other chargers? Is it like one universal charger?
It is not. That is like one of the issues.
They're like Apple. They got proprietary plugins.
Yeah. So that's a great place to start. So one of the problems, first off, I'm just going to say, I think electric cars are great, but it's just like online dating. It's like, oh, pictures look good. You meet the person and it's like, ooh, talking a lot about sports. It's like, whatever. That part of electric cars is that this person that you're going to spend the next 10 years with needs to be charged. It takes hours. Every car is different. But you're, like you brought it up in your portion of it, you're on a trip. Whole family's there. There's a lot of like emotional outcome riding on this, and it fucking runs out of battery. You're screwed. That's scary. And then you're like, oh, what am I going to do for 4 hours while it's charging? It's not like you go into the gas station, buy a bag of peanut M&Ms, watch the little TV screen, and then get on your way. So that's part of it. These are also generally the pay platform for your charger is tied to like one company, the largest being ChargePoint. So if you're installing their hardware, they control the software side of it, including just like Square, the portion that they take for it, and all that kind of stuff. And if there's a problem with it, you can't call an electrician and I'm going to come and take this machine apart. You have to call one of their technicians. So, you're getting locked into a single system. The other part of it is
on the charging side and on like the car sales side. So like there's different systems.
The chargers will usually have multiple heads. I think there's really only two major ones, but the Tesla one, yeah.
Knew it was going to be Tesla.
Yeah. What was my next part of that? Charger systems. It takes hours to charge. So one of the other issues is for like the power company side, you're going to work, you're coming home, and then you're going to sleep. When are you going to charge your car? You're going to charge it while you're sleeping if you're using your home charger. So now suddenly nighttime, when generally there's like certain industrial processes that are only going to happen because the load is down, suddenly you're running more electricity than you do ever at your house. Like it's an 80 amp charger typically, and it's not going to use all 80 amps, but like if it's using 60 amps for 4 hours, like there's nothing unless you're running a welder for 4 hours straight, you're not really coming close,
I normally do that in the middle of the night. You caught me.
Yeah. So that's one of the issues is like the infrastructure needed to get to the place where you're like living your life comfortably using your electric car is going to mean that wherever you go, that you're going to be at school, you're at work, you're wherever, you're going to need to be able to charge there, or, your car drives itself home and then you text it 20 minutes before and it comes hopefully with a snack to pick you up. That's what I'm asking for. I'm leaving that in the comment section.
Self-driving cars. I mean, I'm with you on the dating metaphor. I have replaced much of my dating with a plug-in device, so I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how completely. So I don't know how much 80 or 60 amps is, but I know a lot of men are exaggerating.
Luckily enough, circuit breakers come in regulated intervals, so 60 and 80 are two of them. And it's a 2-pole, just like a dry road would be, 240 volts. So it's another issue from my side, especially like I've only ever seen this on side jobs, but you want to add an air conditioner or dryer to your house. You've got a house built from before like 1975. Your breakers, like they were like, what are you doing at home? You got one lamp, you got your other lamp, and you got a place to plug in your electric shaver and your palm vibrator that the barber's going to use on your shoulders for your,
personal
massage
wand.
So services are smaller, like they're usually 100 amp service. So this is just never going to fit into a panel like that. So it usually means a full electrical upgrade. But also for solar, that's a great segue. Solar.
Okay, so actually, this probably wasn't the question that Bex was getting at, but why can't we have solar on our cars?
Or even solar in your house that banks the energy, and then you're not using up that nighttime power grid energy.
That is totally a way to do it. That is for people who live in sunny places. I think that's the way it's going to end up going. You have something that has the capability to charge probably 2 or 3 cars in your house. And every, because you're not, the other thing that's great is it's not like you have to charge it every night. 4 hours is like to empty probably. So, it's not quite as long, but,
does it die like a battery though? So like if I don't drive it for like a long time, does it die too?
There's probably a little bit of leak, but, a car battery is a like lead and acid battery. It's liquid. It's using 2 different kinds of metals. Car batteries are lithium ion. So just like power tools, your laptop battery, it'll lose a little bit, but it's like not, I wouldn't know the percentage off the top of my head that it's going to lose, but it's not like a car where like just sitting in the sun for a month on your old, your old car that might have like, an aftermarket stereo that's slowly draining its battery.
Yeah, see, these are like so many things that I just like didn't even like. You would have to upgrade your electrical system to buy a car. Like my brain would never do these things.
Yeah, this is like you've bought your Australian Shepherd. You've already gotten your second master's degree, and
you need to.
Now you're ready for your next major life decision, which is upgrading the home your parents bought you to be able to have an electric car.
The bliss, the joy.
The real bootstrapped lifestyle of an American.
Rugged individualism at its best. Yeah.
I didn't get the free house, and can I ask, is there still an option for me? Like, how do I get the free house?
How many box tops do you have saved up?
4?
Those are
so what if
numbers.
What if you live in like an apartment? No Tesla, I guess, huh?
SOL, yeah.
I want to know who's living out of a Tesla. That's what I feel like that person exists.
I
Tiny
did
home
actually
Tesla.
ironically at an AutoZone, I met this like 60-something-year-old man. I'm guessing. I didn't cut him in half and cut his rings or anything.
Right. The standard way.
Yeah. He was driving a Tesla and he was driving Uber. And he was just like, yeah, it's great. I'm retired. Like, this is what I do now. And it's, if you told me that guy was like a custodian before that, I'd be like, he's probably the friendliest fucking guy anybody's ever met. And now he's like living his fucking dream,
That happened to Bex and I. We got picked up by a Tesla Uber driver.
Big in LA,
Yeah.
I was like, why would you ever buy such an expensive car and then let strangers be in it?
I mean, that's how you pay it off.
To support it, to support it, yeah.
But it is the first time you get picked up by an Uber, it's embarrassing because you're like, how do I enter? Do I have to is this a face scan or like
you plug in your
social
USB,
media account?
It downloads you into the car.
Yeah. And then you discover the hidden switchblade door handles. Meant to trick you.
crawl in through the trunk like a Nintendo cartridge. You just have to blow yourself
I'm
off
a
first.
woman, so I actually don't open doors myself. I just wait for a man to come do it. So
Wow.
Jackie, you're going against the movement. I am curious, though, if you could have a solar panel on a car, though. I don't know about the efficacy of that.
It would just, it takes like, so like a solar panel that's 3x6, I think is usually about 400 watts. And it takes 2,500 watts for how many amp hours? It's 150 amp hours. So whatever, however that works out, it's 12 volts. It would take forever for that to charge your car, basically.
Gotcha.
But that brings up a good point, which is why, going back to the dating metaphor, it's like electric cars are like who you're settling for. The soulmate we all deserve is just like reasonable public transportation everywhere. High-speed trains, you're tripping over them. You know what I mean? They're running out of things to name these trains after. There's so many. We actually have to get into more wars because there's so many trains for veterans of every war we've already been in. That's how many trains we have,
So now you're talking polyamorous commune. We gotta expand our dating life. We're all sharing.
Yeah, so you're generating power to get people from A to B and live their lives, whatever. For you to be able to charge your electric car, that power station has to send power at a very high voltage so that the distance where the voltage will drop, it's not enough to affect each stage that has to go down. It's going to go in like the hundreds of thousands of volts to tens of thousands of volts to your 240 volt charger. That whole way from the power station to your car, it's losing energy by heat. Then you have to take the thermodynamics, right? So then you have to take your car charger in AC, 240 volt AC, alternating current, convert it to DC to charge your car again.
Whereas, why do I have to convert it? Why can't I just get it the way that I need it?
Because you're not able to use alternating current to charge a battery. That's why you need to use a charging block to charge your phone. You have to transform and invert the electricity. So it wants to be fed at like 12 volts. So first you have to transform it, and then actually, I don't know the order. They probably transform it first and then give it like a flat line.
So alternating current, direct current. This was what the whole Edison controversy was about. Yes, is that?
They invented the controversy. That was like the TMZ of the times. There was no controversy. I mean, people were scared of electricity.
It killed that elephant.
This is the age of Houdini. Anything could have happened.
Anything can happen.
And then oil and gas and fossil fuels. The rest.
Yeah. So then to finish that idea, you have to move. You're gonna instead use that electricity for a train. It transforms once. It's like the trains are running at a very high voltage, and it's able to use it in all three phases. It's moving more people, and it's going to last way longer. And that's like the next thing that I would add to it is electric cars are not getting us away from disposable transportation. So you get in a fender bender in your Tesla, it might be totaled because you're only able to bring it to the Tesla dealership, and they're like, oh yeah, sorry, this is going to cost 6 million Dogecoin to fix, and you're like, I don't know how many that is. And they're like, neither do we. But you can hire a lawyer and they will tell you how much that is.
I've also heard of people getting their electric cars stuck in parking garages because they're just like out of battery. The fob doesn't work. You can't get in. You can't get it towed. You can't get it open. You have to, if you lose the fob, you got to go back to the factory to get one. But again, that's just a Tesla issue.
Yeah. They do last longer than an internal combustion engine car. Like, we don't know what the end is yet, obviously, because they're still so new. But most people are saying they're going to be at least 500,000 mile vehicles. So that's cool that they will last substantially longer. That's
so it is a combustion engine. Is a combustion engine in like gas vehicles, and then what is it in electric vehicles?
In electric vehicles, it's just a DC motor. It's just just the same kind of motor that would be in a what's a good example, like a industrial mill or something like that. It's like 12 volts, 500 amps. And that's the next other thing. It's just like a small, like, okay, what are the other like environmental drawbacks of electric cars? They're 20% heavier than a regular internal combustion car because of the batteries, the motors. So they go through tires faster, and the weight of a vehicle and the wear on the tires is usually pretty proportional. So I've heard that they wear 20% faster. They also are like way higher torque than a regular car. So that also wears the tires down faster because it's moving faster constantly. And then the lithium, because it's not like you just like go to your like local Monsanto store and say, I'd like some lithium seeds.
You got to go to Rwanda for that.
Yeah, and all the fixins. No, yeah, you got to go to Rwanda.
I've been to Rwanda. It was flush with lithium, let me tell you.
Yeah, you're tripping over it. So we got to get it. It takes tens of thousands of pounds of ore to make like a pound of usable battery lithium. And once you've like hit the maximum charge cycles, we don't have a way to like bring it back to working order that's like cost effective in any way. So it just becomes heavy metal waste.
So with a gas, we are using all this gas really bad. We're running out of like, those types of oils and resources. And what you're saying with the electrical vehicle, that it doesn't use gas, but it's using these lithium batteries, which are also finite and not rechargeable or reusable, the battery itself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the battery's obviously rechargeable, but
like
once it's done, that's until we figure out a way to like do some very magic, crazy stuff, some like alchemy level, like let's change the conditions of this atom. That's it. You're throwing it out. Another on the other list of like red flags for our second date. When you get in a serious collision in a electric car such that it like crushes or compresses the batteries, they're probably going to catch fire, which is like pretty scary. The cars are really good at avoiding accidents. They have all of these like cool self-driving type like driver assist things that prevent it from happening. They're better at stopping than regular cars. So it's probably like not that common, and you probably have to like really fucking nail it. And I'm sure they're doing things to make it better, but once that fire starts, you cannot use anything that's going to be on a fire truck to snuff it out. It is a chemical fire that is going to burn until there's nothing left. So it's going to burn everything in the car. And like now, whatever emissions that you were going to save in a lifetime, you've now just like created all kinds of VOCs that didn't exist before from this car catching on fire. And like the only thing they can do is like snuff it, like
put some flour on it.
No, yeah, like if you had some way to like put like a vacuum jar over the car to suck all the oxygen out, that would be your means of. I hear there are chemical fire kits, but I'm sure it's also prohibitively expensive to do that. I'm sure if there are more electric cars, we'll have to just turn them into bumper cars or something.
So are there any good things about electric cars?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I would say, like, because I want the public transportation. I want that to be the way we're putting our energies into it. But emissions wise, it's way better to not have idling diesel vehicles in a dense city like, Philadelphia, New York, Chicago. When I think about what summer smells like, it's like the smell of the running rich city garbage truck, all that sweet diesel, just crammed between two sets of buildings that you can literally throw produce between.
Dreamy.
It's way better to have an electric car, no idling, whatever, and have those emissions happen somewhere controlled, somewhere where you're not going to say, hey, if I give you an extra like $100, will you put a straight pipe on instead of a catalytic converter? The power company can't really do that.
Okay. And what is a VOC?
That's a volatile organic compound the state of California recognizes as being hazardous to your health. An
I
example
always
is like,
ask for an extra scoop of that. So give me some
yeah,
more VOCs on mine, please.
benzene, hexane, octane. Those are VOCs. Anything that's like
Oh.
hydrocarbon that
So 80
vaporizes very
plus on the
easily.
table.
Yeah,
That
whatever
was a
that.
guess. I don't know the periodic table of elements.
No, nothing to do with the. No, it's going to be 6. It's going to be 6, between 1, 6, and 16.
Obviously.
Hydrocarbon is hydrogen,
Hey,
carbon,
carbon.
oxygen. I don't know. I took chemistry.
Okay, they're compounds. So they're okay, but those are things that are pollutants that are released in like these like batteries and.
Yeah, that's like generally recognized to be the worst pollution is not just
Oh.
burning, but like incompletely burning something.
Oh.
So that you are like a plastic. The miracle of plastics includes all of these individual sets of molecules that won't completely burn at like 1500 degrees. They need to get to way hotter for them to just turn back into carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, water. So you get these other things, and when you breathe them in, it's terrible for you.
Is that all plastic is?
What?
Just like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and water?
Well, like just like the like elementary chemistry equation for combustion is like hydrocarbon plus oxygen yields carbon dioxide, water, and heat. That's whatever.
I am not following, but I'm gonna act like I did. So
No. I the plastic is made from carbon from oil, and then you burn it.
Okay.
Right? So like you burn it, and like the perfect combustion is all that's left over is carbon dioxide and water. That's like, oh wow, great. Even crazier is like what they do in Iceland with their trash, all
What
of
do they
Europe's
do?
trash. They have a geothermal power plant that has like a blast furnace of some, like an electric blast furnace of some sort,
Ooh.
and they burn all of Europe's trash for energy. But it burns so hot that like Icelanders are breathing it, so it's good.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's like one of their major industries. I think is like really interesting.
Burning trash.
Just like maintaining this facility. I'm not going to say that they're out there. They probably don't even call it trash there. They probably have like a word like refuse or like.
Yeah, it's probably beautiful. They make it sound great.
Icelandic refuse sounds like a DJ you'd see at Coachella.
Yeah.
So,
2024.
Inside wireman. So, could you build a house? You couldn't do the plumbing.
I'll do whatever. I'll do whatever for time and materials. Whatever.
Okay, bachelor number 1. We're building this tiny home.
Yeah, no, I'm an electrician. I was told once by one of my journeymen, we don't build it, we wire it. Like, I'm not in there framing the building. I'm coming in. We are there the whole time. That's like one of the cool things about being an electrician. You're there when it's just dirt to set up the temp power. Most buildings have underground conduits that you have to do before the foundation is in, and then you're there every step of the way.
You like bury it below the house?
Not below. Like most houses aren't going to necessarily have an underground service, but every commercial building you've ever been in, unless you're in a place where they're like, oh yeah, you can only dig 6 inches down, and then the rest is mole people. So I wouldn't do that.
Do not disturb the mole people.
Where I live. Yeah, a lot of mole people.
Yeah, they're damn earthquake machines. Yeah, so most commercial buildings are going to have underground, like at least for the service, and lots of other buildings have done. You're doing stuff in the concrete slab, so that's one of the parts of it. Bending conduit, that's like the main part of my work, which I knew nothing about before it, and it's turned into
and
like.
What's a conduit?
It is the raceway. It is a form of raceway. You might call it a pipe. Okay. But old timers will specifically tell you, you've seen it without knowing that what you're looking at. I'm sure, like it looks exactly like a gas pipe to just about anybody, same threading and everything. but this is something that you can use to protect the wires, so they can get from A to B without leaving the conductors exposed to damage.
Conduit. I'm gonna write that one down.
So do you think that we're going to see more buildings like refurbishing or however refabricating to include more electric ports and trying to solve for this problem? Or do you think we're going to, go plan C and do something besides electric vehicles?
It doesn't seem like we're going the route that, we're not going towards our soulmate. We're like repeating bad patterns. This is like,
this metaphor is amazing.
Yeah.
We're not getting bullet trains across.
No, you gotta do the work. You gotta like tell elementary school kids that like if they want to be a hometown hero, they get on the railroad and
hobo,
the big times.
Mm-hmm.
But no, everybody wants to be like just like a TikTok influencer now. So they want to professionally play Fortnite. So
my other job.
Yeah, my other job. Yeah. So yeah, like China in 2000. That's like one of my favorite gifts. Is like informational gifts. Is the trains that China has built since 2008, and you can go anywhere in China now on a high-speed train. Takes no time at all. It actually turns back time.
Back
yeah,
time.
they are gonna. I hear that China is gonna get the first AI share.
Yes.
I'm starting that rumor
mean?
here. I mean, they
Share?
are share.
Oh,
they
share.
They want to share her with the world.
Oh, they should. We love her.
Yeah.
And she's gonna suck up all the smog and
that would be like it's like this is
air.
like this is a new kaiju Godzilla theme where it's like a mecha pop star fighting pollution, but like the oil companies also send some like monster car.
Okay,
that
we
she
need
has
to TM
fight.
this right now, guys. Okay, no one else get in on this idea.
Yeah, Lady Gaga is quite litigious, so we better copyright this now.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Are there any like last little tips and tricks as an electrician just in and about the home? Maybe cutting down on our carbon footprint, maybe avoiding electrocution.
Carbon footprint was invented by British Petroleum to take the blame off of them. I think as consumers, we should just be living our best lives and focusing on economic issues and like behavioral therapy. Everything else falls on the corporations. I think if they want Citizens United, if they want to have First Amendment rights, then they need to be doing like, I don't know, like maybe like some human things, like we maybe break their back instead. I don't know, something like that.
Does this make my carbon footprint look big? No, it's
Yes.
just the corporate hegemony of greed and infrastructure.
Send carbon footprint pics. As far as electrical things for the lay person, I don't have much. Don't play with electricity.
I do it all the time, though. It's so fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
I've never licked a battery. Would you recommend it?
Freak what you feel,
What about finger in the light socket?
That's too much for me.
No.
Yeah.
I like a little shock.
Yeah, a little bzz.
Just keeps things fresh.
Maybe for my soulmate, on their birthday.
Well, we haven't done the work yet, Beck, so we don't get soulmates.
I know. Oh, I just keep going back to that gas-powered fuckboy.
This is
cool.
this got too real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
right,
we're all
Jackie,
looking in the
what do you
mirrors a little differently right now.
Okay, so again, this reminds me of when we did the weather, and I just had a bunch of random words written down. Okay. First, you buy an electric car?
Yeah. Consumer level, you're buying your well, no, honestly, I feel like if you buy maybe when you get there, they're going to ask you some questions like, do you have your charge point? Are you ready to house these 60 amperes?
Are they going to ask us that?
They
I don't
probably
think they're going to ask.
They might
They're going to
not.
sell me whatever I will buy, and they are going to see that I am a total joke. So, okay, something about when you get the power in, you have to transform it and invert it because it was AC and now you need it to be DC.
Well, thankfully, we don't have to do that. Our charging blocks will do that for us.
I do it manually, actually. But
wow.
Okay. The next thing I have is that electric cars are not the solution.
The next bullet 2 is do not.
They are disposable transportation.
Ooh,
okay.
Yeah.
And I had never heard that phrase before, so I'm about it. And it's 20% heavier and it goes through tires.
That battery might last, or might give you more mileage, but what are you going to get there in if it's all worn down and the tires are blown out and you're...
But if you do have one, know where to charge it, because if you don't charge it, you get stuck in a parking garage.
Yeah, it's not quick.
It's not quick. And then something about alchemy.
That is step 3 when we reach a higher plane of existence, and we...
That's actually my next... something about alchemy is my next emo album, actually.
Yeah, when we can, transmogrify the tears of orphans plus $1 million for one cup of...
Listen, the whole
clean
play
gas
about my family was about the being an alchemist. So I think I'm ready. For this. Okay. Also, if you crush the battery, it starts a chemical fire.
I know, and then it's like, can you get the doors open? Or are you just like melted alive? That sounds...
You're melted alive.
I'm not like researching that every day, but that is one of my favorite problems. I just moved from Austin, and you saw a crashed Tesla probably once a month between San Antonio and Austin, and I saw one 40 on fire once, but it was already at the end, so it was like, oh wow, there's just like a hole in the highway now because it like melted all the asphalt.
The asphalt?
Scary.
Yeah, because asphalt's also just oil, so it will just start vaporizing it.
Science is scary. I don't know about this. Okay, that's all I had. Bex, what you got?
My favorite highway is the 1. My least favorite is the 40. That's the report. That's where I've come to. I probably won't ever get an electric vehicle. I would be afraid. I'd be afraid at this point. It's too early. And I'm also like, I am a fan of pub trans. I would do, although it is so nice. Like I always say, my favorite room in my apartment is my car. Like I love just like at the end of the night, just hanging out in my car, just me and the radio. It's like a nice place of solace. And I think that is like part of the problem is this, like, I want to have the luxury of space versus, public transportation being able to carry so many more people than just one vehicle, one person. I'm not driving anyone else ever for any reasons, I think that is going to be a problem in our modern world as we keep keep adding babies and cars and roads. And how do you make it all work and fit in this world? Solar power, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I hope these technologies, it's like some of these technologies are moving suspiciously slow. We've like, in flight we've mastered like flight and electric vehicles, but it's still, I don't know. How do we make solar power get a little snappier?
I don't know, man. I think it's mainly because probably the big companies in charge are not putting any funding into actually sourcing that. That's my guess.
Yeah, I think that's my real takeaway is that, it isn't on the individual to, like pollution from cars. I live in a society that needs a car to get places. Like I didn't build those roads and make those, that make it that way. That's just kind of how I, as an individual, have to exist in this world, and we focus on systemic change.
It's the future. All right.
Yeah.
Did we go up from the 4.5?
Yeah. 9.5 out of 10. Nope. Nobody gets a 10.
Nobody.
We get a lot of 9.5s though. You would. So we do improve our scores sometimes. I think it's just because we strategically write big words down in our notes and just repeat those.
Yeah, that's a good way to go.
I think I have only questions, and now I leave it
awesome.
to you to wrap it up. You got anything to plug? Anything you're?
I mean, other than
about?
Jesse Ventura 2024, I'd like to see Jesse Ventura, Howard Stern do what no one's ever done before. I want to see Jesse Ventura on stage looking Biden and Trump in the eyes, taking stock of what they got.
Jesse the body.
I'm for it.
Body.
You've convinced me.
It's already a circus. Let's be entertained.
Honestly, truly. All right. And on that note, as we're waiting for the 2024 elections where Jesse Ventura makes our dreams come true, will we be experts by that time?
Yes.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
That was great. And that was the show. Thank you everyone for watching, and we hope you stay curious.
If you enjoyed this video, watch our other videos here on YouTube, or you should listen to the episode on We're Experts Now podcast. Bex, where can they find us?
You can find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart Music.
And what if they want to talk to us?
If you have ideas for something you want us to investigate, send us an email at we'reexpertspod@gmail.com. That's wereexpertspod@gmail.com.
Great job on that spelling. A+. Do you do this professionally?
I believe we're both doing it professionally right now.
Wow. People should know about this.
I completely agree. And you can find us on Instagram at We're Experts Now Pod.
Thanks again. And if you enjoy the show, subscribe and comment, and do not forget to leave a 5-star tip.
That's a great idea. Are you a podcast expert?
I think we both are. I think
we're experts now.
This has been a Just Being Better Media production.